conflict diamonds, and is a term for diamonds that have been and it's not a blood-covered diamond also. Conflict diamonds or war diamonds. And in some African countries are still suffering from civil conflicts. And in the countries, warlords heavily depend on natural resources such as diamonds to finance weapons and ammunition. Especially in those countries, we want to talk about Sierra Leone. Even though Sierra Leone boasts of fertile land without drought problem, which is very rare in this continent, and plentiful mineral resources such as diamonds, the country has been torn apart in the course of civil wars between 1991 and 2002. The conflict resulted in some 70,000 casualties and 2.6 million displaced people. The economy at the bottom as well. There seemed to be no hope at all at the country. By January 2002, the war was declared over and a newly elected president sworn in. However, the country showed no signs of improvement since then and is still one of the poorest and war-devastated countries in the world. Given the amicable climate for grains and the bountiful natural resources, Sierra Leone is still suffering to cope with domestic political turmoil, epidemic corruption, and the lack of motivation as a nation. The lack of transparency in the government and public administration worsened the economic polarization in the society at the same time. There's an old saying in Britain that goes, "Every man's neighbor is his looking glass." And we are here today to propose how we built a nation which every one of us is proud from the bottom of one's heart as a looking glass for present Sierra Leone.
What do you believe made our country a great one as she is now? We as a team came out with the conclusion that our vibrant democracy and solid economic prosperity is highly dependent on our education system. We Koreans believe in education more than any other country on this planet. And we believe that education could bring a bright future even though nobody in our world could recognize our potential and chance of survival and progress through the devotion to education of younger generation. We proved ourselves and here we are now. Why not Sierra Leone? We now believe a country with more resources can make progress through devotion, investments on education system. And we would like to suggest a dream school project. Now, come and look around the dream school with us. A dream school should be at least 3-story building to accommodate all the educational purposes we have in mind. On the first floor, there is a nurse office to make sure the students are well nourished, a gym facility to have a chance to have fun and work out to stay fit, a spaces for cafeteria to feed students, and a broadcasting facility to help students cultivate culture consciousness and understanding are located as well. In many underdeveloped countries, there are many children who are abandoned where their parents cannot afford to raise them. So on the first floor of our dream school is a symbol of determination of a society to take care of and cultivate young generation. On the second floor will be accommodate classrooms where children can enjoy learning a variety of subjects on their own choice. The classrooms will be hopefully equipped with an online education system that all the volunteers from all over the world could able to provide educational materials whenever they are willing to. On the third floor, there is a library, students' meeting room, computer lab, and science labs will be assigned. And we'll put extra care in designing the library as many students can spend as many times as possible studying on their own to make their dreams come true. Lastly, on the rooftop, we'll insert sunlight generator to self-provide electricity and build a small garden to have children have a chance to appreciate the nature of their country and learn how to develop the natural resources without harming ecosystem. Development means destruction in many cases, but we don't think it's just a bad idea, and we want to foster eco-friendly system on the campus.
As for the curriculum, our dream school will establish a policy to encourage our students to attend two major subjects, technology and health. Basic courses on both the subjects will be mandatory for all the students, and in-depth learning courses will be encouraged as a selected course at the same time. Now, let's talk about why we have chosen these two subjects. As you all know, people lead to a better life now thanks to the Industrial Revolution in the past. However, Sierra Leone is way behind our human history of democracy and economic prosperity because of what they have experienced in the past. Therefore, in order to catch up the progress of the outer world, the education of technology is urgently needed in the country. Health is also our major field of education because even after the end of the wars, the country has been suffering of epidemics and natural diseases. Like the Ebola virus in 2014, there were a lot of unknown diseases that spread along the country and had almost devastated the whole country. The education of health is a matter of life and death in Sierra Leone. We think it is almost crucial to teach young Sierra Leone people how to survive. Now let's talk more specifically about what we are going to teach the students. We are going to propose how and what we are going to teach about the two subjects, technology and health. Beginning with the technology class, we are going to run two level classes, which are basic class and intensive class. In the basic class, students will learn practical skills which they will use in their daily lives. For example, they will learn how to fix furniture, home appliances, and electronic devices. In the intensive course, students who are selected according to the performance will take more intensive collegiate level technology class. Also, these students will have a variety of opportunities to take part in a variety of experiments and research projects. Now we are going to talk about our plans on the health subject. There are going to be two classes as long as the technology class. In the basic class, students will learn basic knowledge about the health, precautions on health and disease issues, and also emergency treatment skills. This course will be mandatory for all the students. Now the intensive course. Students in this class will learn more advanced medication skills, and students in this class will be expected to keep pursuing their career of medical doctors or nurses.
Now, other than the before mentioned two major subjects, we will design our curriculum with 6 basic subjects and 4 additional subjects. English, science, mathematics, history, economics, ethics will be the 6 basic subjects, which is mandatory. And second foreign language, politics and law, advanced math, and advanced science will be the 4 additional subjects, among which the students will choose 1 or 2. Among these subjects, we will put stress on the subject of ethics, as it is impossible for a nation to have a bright future without getting rid of prevailing corruption.
Now Now we need money to make our dream come true. Our basic expenses for our plans will be 0.2 or 3 billion won, according to the charity organization involved in the continent. So our target figure will be 0.3 billion won, which will cover the money to build school buildings, equip the facilities, and hire teachers and staffs. Also, we are going to build online platform of crowdfunding and finance mainly through it. Moreover, we are going to make videos and put it on the YouTube to draw attention of the tragedy of blood diamonds. The most difficult part will be recruiting teachers. We are going to contact professors, experts, and professionals all over the world and try to persuade them to participate in our course by giving them lectures online and offline as well.
This is the end of our plan for a dream school in Sierra Leone. We as Koreans rose up from the ashes of the Korean Wars through education, education, and again, education. We believe education in Sierra Leone can and should make the country a better place to live in the future. We saw the potential that Sierra Leone has, even though it is being overshadowed by the tragic history of blood diamonds. The country's young talents should be mined and polished through education once again, because they are precious stones to shed new light on the country's future. They are the true diamonds of Sierra Leone. Thank you for listening. Thank you.